Good evening. A lot has happened in the world since the last time the Billikens lost a game. Mandela died, Manning lost another Super Bowl, and Bruce Jenner had some more surgery. 76 days is a long time to go in college basketball without a loss, isn't it? Now, the Cardinals say they've always believed in Kelly. But if that were really the case, how come when they were looking for a fifth starter, they tried everybody but me? Michael Waka got a shot, Tyler Lyons got a shot, John Gass got a shot, Kay Quinn got a shot. Well, maybe not. Bottom line, he wasn't the Cardinals' first choice, but then again, I wasn't my wife's first choice either. When I was growing up, there were only two things for sure in July. The sun was going to shine, and Ted Simmons was going 2 for 4. I realized that Simmons wasn't Johnny Bench behind the plate, and he never won a World Series, but the numbers are undeniable. Most of the Hall of Fame voting consideration lately has been what to do with the steroid cheats. I have a suggestion for all of you Hall of Fame voters out there. Don't spend another second looking at their statistics and take a look at Simba's stats. You'll come away impressed. In a week where Stan Kroenke got the St. Louis sports fans incensed, Tom Stillman was either cheering on the Blues, talking up the Blues, or playing hockey with ex-Blues. Tonight, with the help of photog Eric Voss, Stillman on his team, the Olympics, and playing pickup hockey.
Well, I hope I don't fall on the way out.
Yesterday, he was the only NHL owner who was replaced on a line shift by Brett Hull. What about Mr. Stillman's ability? What do you think?
He doesn't have any.
This is Tom Stillman, the owner of the Blues, who literally brings his stick to the office. To say he's a fan would be an understatement, like the time he found out who his seat was next to in his first owners meeting.
The nameplate that said Mario Lemieux. Whoa.
All the pressure on Echo.
Or last Saturday, in the stands in the shootout, he was living and dying it with his daughter Anna.
There was one time in the, I don't know, it was the playoffs last year, the year before, I almost took her over backwards, I think.
3 days a week, Stillman plays hockey. He moves well and passes well. But neither he... How would a scout characterize your ability?
I think they'd say, why is that guy 2 zones behind the play?
Or ex-Blues will cut him any slack.
The typical, you know, the mind is willing, but the body's not. He's passion. He's good in the room. We're thinking of leaving him there next game.
Stillman's passion for the Blues is undeniable. So much so, he will be one of the few NHL owners actually going to Sochi.
I just want to see the hockey. It's great hockey, and on a big stage, a lot at stake.
Speaking of great hockey, his Blues are off to their best start ever. And despite not having big revenue coming in, Stillman is spending to the salary cap limit.
Our window is open to contend for a cup. And, you know, you've got a few years to do that. And so it's time to invest and do everything we can to win.
Stillman is so pumped up about the Olympics. Think about it. The Blues dressed 20 players every night, and 10 were selected to play in the Winter Games. Often on Fridays, we play Hit and Run. It's rapid-fire Q&A with a sports celebrity. No hedging is allowed. Today we play with the Hall of Famer, Dan Dierdorf, who's ending a 30-year broadcasting career this weekend. Most memorable moment in a broadcast booth?
Oh, probably '94, the Monday night game with Elway and Joe Montana. And Montana brought the Chiefs back and scored with less than 10 seconds ago. I knew that was part of history.
The most angry a player has been at you for your analysis?
Oh, that probably would have been Andre Waters in Philadelphia. He took a shot at Rich Gannon on the sidelines one time, and I pretty much nailed him to the wall, and he was upset about it. He ended up being fined by the NFL, which back then was a big deal, and he thought it was my fault.
How old were you the last time you had a Sunday off in the fall?
Senior in college. And that's why, because we played on Saturdays. I haven't had I've been in an NFL stadium every Sunday for the last 43 years.
Best perk of broadcasting Monday Night Football?
Being a part of a package that's television history.
Olympic gold or Stanley Cup? What means more?
Stanley Cup.
One Blues teammate in history you would want protecting your family?
Protecting my family, Tony Twist.
Who's the one forward you did not want to see coming at you in a big game?
None. Just the little wee guys. I had trouble with the little wee guys.
When you play golf with your wife, Karina, former professional golfer, how bad is the beating?
It's bloody awful. It's embarrassing. When you get out driven by 50 yards by your wife, it's tough to handle.
No hockey in this world, you'd be doing what right now?
Hopefully teaching history somewhere in the university.
True or false, you went to the Pink concert
That'd be true.
and you enjoyed it immensely?
That would be true also.
You know, for a split second last night, everybody at Busch Stadium, we're talking 48,000 people, thought there was going to be a 10th inning. There was only one person in the ballpark who knew the game was over, and that was the third base umpire, Jim Joyce. But Cardinal fans and players will tell you, it was well worth that 2-second wait. 67 years ago, there was a mad dash in a World Series involving the Cardinals and Red Sox. Eno Slaughter became a legend because of this moment. But last night was more rare and more bizarre.
It was exciting. It was crazy.
I'm 38 years old. I don't think I've ever seen it.
First time I've seen that happen.
I don't even know what happened, actually.
It began with Alan Craig, bad foot and all, coming off the bench in the ninth inning, icy cold, and facing the great Koji Uehara, who gives up a hit as often as a Catholic attends Mass, about once a week.
He's trying to be aggressive, you know. He has good stuff, you know. Can't wait around for that split, you know, or changeup or whatever he calls it. It's a really plus pitch, so, you know, I got a pitch over the plate, and you know, I was ready to hit.
Then it got crazy. John Jay's harmless ground ball to Dustin Pedroia may have gotten Yadier Molina thrown out, but the fun was just beginning.
Gets away. Alan Craig is going to come to the plate. Here's the throw. He is the umpire making the call. They're going to say he's safe.
Just trying to get home. Didn't have much in the tank, to be honest with you. You know, that's probably the fastest I've tried to run.
And even though the throw would beat Craig home, and he never actually touched home, he got the base because of interference. When did he know he was safe?
When I saw my entire team running out on the field. Yeah.
Hitting that double off the bench and then running the bases like he did. I mean, that was like Kirk Gibson-X right there.
A dash by a player who was injured, and a run for a team without ever touching the plate. Just another night at the World Series. And no matter what happens for the rest of us when we're watching baseball, we will always remember that moment. Whether you're 5 years old, whether you're 55 years old or 85 years old, you will remember Alan Craig and that moment. It's Black Monday in the NFL, and there's a common denominator in almost all of the NFL coaches losing their jobs: bad quarterback play. Houston, Washington, Tampa, and Minnesota all suffered at the position, all made coaching changes. Bad quarterback play is like the flu. It infects everything. It's the most important position in team sports, and outside of the president, maybe the most scrutinized. If you have a good one, you have a chance. If you don't, you have no chance. And that leads us to Sam Bradford. Already on talk radio, we've come up with ideas how to win this draft. Trade down, maximize picks, get a tackle, get a receiver, get a cornerback. But in the end, this franchise hinges on one man, Sam Bradford. And the Bradford supporters will say, well, he had a 90 passer rating. When he was injured, his 14 touchdowns were 5th in the league. He only had 4 interceptions, and he did most of it without a ground attack. Critics will say he was a game under 500 this year, and so was Kellen Clemens. And they wonder about everything from his pocket presence to his ability to lead. Quarterback play for a head coach is like the economy for the president. It will determine how you are remembered. Lombardi had Starr, Noel had Bradshaw, Walsh had Montana, and Belichick has Brady. How will Jeff Fisher be remembered in St. Louis? Just follow Sam Bradford's career. That will tell you everything. It did tell the story on Black Monday in the NFL. A doctor told me this week that if you reviewed the brains of 25 former NFL players who played on the line, all 25 would have some type of brain disease. Kyle Turley is now a musician living in Nashville. Some of his music pertains to the plight and pain of former players.
All on your own. No, my friends are dying. All I feel is pain. Sitting here broken. Never dreamed it this way.
This is 37-year-old Kyle Turley. All-American in college, All-Pro in the NFL, and now all concerned about his health and his NFL brothers.
Guys have committed suicide. Guys have had no answers as to why they're having all these ridiculous diseases come on so soon in their lives. And it's not just affected these players, it's affected their families. And it's just really sad, and it upsets me to no end.
Recently, there have been 3 NFL suicides in 16 months. Dave Duerson, Ray Easterling, and Junior Seau. Autopsies confirmed all 3 suffered from chronic traumatic encephalopathy. It's a progressive degenerative disease. The brain on the left is clean. The brain on the right has CTE.
Your ability to think clearly starts to diminish. So you're a little bit confused, and you know you're confused. You get lost a little bit, you can't find your words, can't remember your son's name, and you just don't have any positive outlook. So you get depressed because you see that you have a declining affect.
Turley, number 68, played 109 games in the NFL trenches as an offensive lineman. He had only 2 recorded concussions. However, knowing what concussions are now, he believes he had at least 2 a game and 2 at every practice. One of the documented ones came with the Rams in 2003, where he questions the treatment he received.
As I'm getting up to get up and run down the field to try and make another block, opposing player from the Packers jumps over me. I believe it was even a defensive back. And as I was coming up, he jumped over me, and the back of his knee caught my helmet. And boom, out, unconscious, knocked out cold.
Turley was not sent to the hospital by the Rams after the game, but a former teammate urged him to go there, and he stayed at that hospital for 2 days. And then on Thursday of that week, the Rams wanted him practicing.
And they say, "How are you feeling?" I was like, "Well, I'm still feeling some serious headaches. My head's got some stuff going on with it headache-wise, but, my body feels better." So, and they go, "Well, let's see how it goes today." And then that's where I'm out there, that was their plan, to test out how my concussion recovered from that short time period, was to see how well I did going against Leonard Little in one-on-one pass rushes, one of the hardest bull rushing defensive ends in the history of the NFL. That was the test.
In addition to being a recording artist, Turley draws. This piece of work sums up his feelings. You just got dinged, with the Saints logo being his first team. Don't worry, it'll go away, with the Rams logo. And to kill, with his final team, the Chiefs and the NFL. Kill himself is what Turley was ever so close to doing. He has been diagnosed as CTE symptomatic. Medication keeps the deep depression from coming nowadays, but there was that one day not so long ago.
Finding yourself 37 years old, sitting in a parking lot, and you've got a beautiful wife and kids at home, where you feel like you need to pick up a phone and talk to somebody that's a total stranger is, someplace I don't want to find myself again.
Turley believes the safety precautions the NFL is now putting into place would never have been done if it were not for these lingering lawsuits. There is no cure for CTE. It only gets worse. It's important to note Turley is not looking for sympathy. He says he wears his scars as badges of honor. The only sympathy he wants is for the families who suffer the most. By the way, 100% of the proceeds from downloads of Kyle's music video, Fortune and Pain, go to help ex-NFL players.